live broadcast with Dan on Disney, another show that I have inside of the Dan Tortora broadcast media family. So, Wake Up Call making history. We're everywhere here. Got to check all the cameras. So, we are here in the studio, here with you on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt for live internet streaming radio all over the world. WakeUpCallDT.com, where the MixLR feed is embedded. We're on Facebook.com right here with you. Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. And now we are on Instagram Live. What's up, people? Instagram, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Let's make it happen. Making history with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. So however you're tuning into the show, whatever region, however you're listening, wherever you're listening, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that goes and plays it back after it goes live as well. We appreciate you all as always. Like I said, we're on MixLR, WakeUpCallDT.com, Facebook, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live, all inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal coming to you with so many awesome locations: 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, and their newest location on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, in that giant behemoth of a brown building with the stripes on it, where all the roads converge in Manlius. You'll find them there. And of course, something new coming to Sweetheart Corners. So very, very excited about that. And we have plenty to talk about here. Some people's brackets are already busted, and we'll be discussing that and more on. So welcome to the broadcast, to a very special broadcast. Those of you that know the show know that Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we are making history by giving you a bonus show today, which we do all the time. You can see the bracket up here on Facebook and on YouTube. For those of you that can't see the bracket, I'll run you through it. But the South and the Midwest got involved in the round of 64, Part 1. Part 2 is today, where we'll see the entire West bracket in action and the East bracket in action as well. The South bracket, we saw Baylor win. I think a lot of people obviously had them over Hartford's. I told you that when I don't pick Wisconsin, they win. When I pick Wisconsin, they lose. So I said, whatever I do with Wisconsin, the opposite's going to happen. And if I don't pick them, well, then congratulations on them going to the Sweet 16. Well, they beat North Carolina, who I had coming out of the South bracket, in the Final Four. That's not going to happen. We'll talk about another team that it's not going to happen with as well, that probably a bunch of people had. But Wisconsin wins, again, because I didn't pick them. They win, and they'll be moving forward to face Baylor. Wisconsin with a chance to go to the Sweet 16, like they typically do when I do not pick them. Villanova defeated Winthrop, the 5-12 matchup, the last game of the round of 64's first night at 9:57 p.m. Eastern Time. And North Texas held on to take down Purdue, and Purdue played phenomenal. North Texas played even better than that. Fantastic game. I wanted to see them both make it, but we saw, obviously, we got to see North Texas do their thing and advance forward as a 13 seed over a 4-seeded Purdue. So a big shout out to them as they got it done. Big ups to them for that. Texas Tech and Utah State playing Texas Tech, where my guy DeAndre Smith is the running backs coach right now. He came from Utah State with the staff. So kind of ironic how those two basketball teams are playing against each other, as those are the last two teams that DeAndre's been on, his current and his former. Texas Tech was able to get it. I thought Utah State would get the upset. They did not in the 6-11 matchup. Arkansas defeated Colgate after Colgate hung tough in the first half of the game and actually made it interesting in the first half. And Arkansas was able to come out of the SEC and make it happen. Another team out of the SEC to do it, Florida over Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech cashing in on that left-handed three, but it wasn't enough. And Ohio State falls to Oral Roberts. I'll say that again. Ohio State lost to Oral Roberts. 15-seeded Oral Roberts takes down Ohio State. OHIO is no mo, as North Carolina and Ohio State get bounced out of the round of 64, which means that some people's brackets in the South are already busted. My Elite Eight matchup to go to the Final Four was North Carolina, Ohio State, so bye-bye South bracket. But my Midwest bracket, is looking pretty right now. And hopefully these teams will continue to win to keep my bracket in the Midwest clean and all green. Illinois does what they needed to do over Drexel. They make it happen. Shout out to them for that. Loyola Chicago, I'm riding with Sister Jean. I'm riding until the wheels fall off, and the wheels fall off. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to carry Sister Jean over the threshold. Loving it. Loyola Chicago getting work done. The 8 seed wins it. Sad that they did it over a team that I respect as well in Georgia Tech and Josh Pastner, who I just got to spend some good time with. But a big, big shout out to Loyola of Chicago because I believe in them. I believe in Sister Jean. 101 years young. She seemingly has like the personality of my G-Mama, but she looks like my Gammy. So it's like both of my grandmas put together. I can't help but ride with Sister Jean. I had Oklahoma State as well, and which is really, really cool. I saw, Oregon. Well, I had them both. Oregon State defeating Tennessee in the 5-12 matchup. I said dangerous matchups. So shout out to Oregon State for getting it done, and shout out to the Beavers that keep winning after winning their first ever Pac-12 tournament championship. Let's go, Beavers. Oklahoma State winning over Liberty in their game. Syracuse, which we'll talk about at length in this broadcast, defeats San Diego State. They beat them on an aircraft carrier. Now they beat them on solid ground, 78-62. West Virginia, who used to be a rival of Syracuse in the Big East, is moving on as well. The 3 seed defeating Morehead State, who made the game interesting as a 14 seed through the first half and parts of the second half. And then Clemson and Rutgers, which I thought were very evenly matched. Rutgers was able to get away from that. I had Rutgers in that game, the 10 seed. They get it. And Houston, the number 1 team statistically throughout the regular season in rebounding, they move on over Cleveland State, the team that cashed in on a 3-quarter court 3 in the Dome that don't you think I forgot about. And Syracuse fans are saying, why are you talking about it, Dan? I want to hear about it. So, my Midwest bracket is all clean right now. So, I'm putting the West and the East on notice. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. I'm like a ref. Hey, keep it clean. Illinois, Loyola, Chicago, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Rutgers, and Houston all win, keeping my bracket in muy pretty shape. So, muy bonita, I would say in Spanish. So very happy to see that and have that happen. I am so excited to be here with you all today. We're going to be talking about Syracuse and everything that has gone on with the Orange. We'll talk about the upcoming game they just had against San Diego State and the upcoming game against West Virginia. And we just gave you a little bracket update through the round of 64. So wherever you are, Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, MixLR, where you're listening.com/WakeUpCallDT, and WakeUpCallDT.com. And for the first time ever, what's up, Instagram Live? Wake Up Call is live for the first time ever on Instagram in the Cafe Kubal Studios on Instagram's at WakeUpCall_DT. And my man Darius Kelly is on the broadcast from Syracuse football history. What's up, Darius? I hope you're doing well, brother, and I hope you're enjoying life. So, a lot of great stuff here on the broadcast. Happy to have you here. And inside of MonPozPopcorn.com is what's popping. We'll talk Syracuse, San Diego State. We'll get into Syracuse, Virginia as well. So, let's start things off with Syracuse and San Diego State. Syracuse getting the victory over San Diego State to make it happen, and a big shout out to them for that. The Syracuse Orange doing what needed to be done to get through with this victory. Now, Syracuse started out down 2-0, and then Marek Dolezaj took the ball from the three-point line, took a pass from the three-point line, and went straight down the lane to the basket in traffic by a bunch of guys and up with it, gets himself fouled. He ties the game there on that make at the rim. Great to see that. Buddy Boeheim's doing his thing. He was going into guys, getting his positioning right. You put the head in and the elbow in. You come out, you step back. And so he was able to get his shot inside the arc, outside of the arc. Man's turning around with 1 second left on the shot clock and heaving it up, and he's making it. So, a lot of great stuff going on with Buddy Boeheim. I said to him after the NC State game, hey, man, save some threes for Virginia. Well, he saved them for Virginia. He saved them in this game. 30 points in 34 minutes. Buddy Boeheim making it happen. Buddy in March has scored 20-plus in every game he's played in March except for one. So Buddy Boeheim doing a tremendous job and big ups to him. 31 points in recent history, 30 points in this game, and just playing phenomenal. He was 11 for 15 from the field, 7 of 10 from three-point range, which is, I mean, I don't have to tell you, but you know it's phenomenal. So, incredible play by Buddy Boeheim. I thought he was good, but this man he keeps heating up. He keeps getting it. I mean, there's more in the tank. Like I've said it before, he's like almost like a gas card, right? He's always just like, there's more stuff in the tank. He's going there to the gas station, he's swiping the card, he's getting that change off the gas, right? You get the 3 cents off and the 10 cents or whatever it may be. Buddy just keeps filling up Syracuse fans' hopes and dreams as Syracuse moves on in this game, 78-62. Syracuse has been known to get steals this season. They didn't have a single steal in this game. So they win by 16 as a lower seed, 11 versus 6. They didn't have a steal in the game. And on top of that, again, Syracuse does not have there has not been a single game where everybody's been on. The time that happens, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing the time that happens, where Syracuse just turns on from there. And hopefully it'll happen here in the tournament for the Orange, because there's not been a game all season long where Quincy Guerrier, Marek Dolezaj, Alan Griffin, Joe Girard, Buddy Boeheim, Kadar, where everybody was just hitting shot. Like everybody was just making it happen. In this game, Buddy has 30 points in 34 minutes. Joe Girard has 12 points in 29, and he also had 7 assists. So what I love about Joe is he's doing more. He had 4 turnovers. He's got to minimize those. But 7 assists, 6 rebounds all on the defensive side for Joe Girard. So 6 rebounds as a guard. 7, and when your guards are getting rebounds, that's saying something about your defense getting better, what he did on the defensive side of the ball and crashing the glass in general. 7 assists and 12 points. Love the balanced effort by Joe Girard. Almost had a triple-double in that respect. So good for you. Alan Griffin, nothing. He took 2 shots in the game, but this is where Syracuse is learning. This is where Syracuse, you would hope to think, is building their intelligence out there, the basketball IQ. Buddy's the hot hand. Feed the hot hand. Alan Griffin doesn't have to take more than a couple shots, right? I would think he would take like maybe 5, but listen, Buddy's making his shots, so let him shoot. Buddy took 15, Girard took 10, and Guerrier took 4, Marek took 4 as starters, and Alan Griffin only took 2. Griffin didn't have a single point, played in 15 minutes. Now, my thing with Alan Griffin, though, is that he needs to get to a point where he can build. I mean, in my opinion, I really would like to see Alan Griffin change his attitude, so to speak, when he's out there. Because the smirking when you're playing, like, I understand that maybe that's something he does as he's uncomfortable, right? Maybe that's an uncomfortability thing where he doesn't feel, when Boeheim's yelling at him, that's what he does. Some people smile, they smirk when they get in trouble because it's like a defense mechanism. They're uncomfortable. But it just doesn't seem like the information's going in, and it doesn't seem like it's coming out into anything. Alan Griffin can block shots. We've seen it, 7 blocks in a game. Boeheim said it was the best block he's ever seen in the Dome during the regular season, and I was there for that. So, by the grace of God, and I'm thankful for that, and hard work and dedication and determination to be one of the few people in the Dome. So, much appreciation for that. Love being there, and would love to see the fans back there ASAP, safely and soundly, of course. But we know that Alan Griffin can block shots. We know he can make shots. We know he can do good things. We know he can get out in transition. But my frustration with him is none of it is consistent. My frustration with him is that it doesn't look like he listens to Boeheim. There was one time Boeheim was trying to talk to him. He just walked. He just walked right by him. You don't do that. You don't do that. Your coach is talking to you. You listen to what they have to say. Now, granted, we don't all have great coaches. I get that. But I would like to hear what Boeheim has to say. I'd like to hear what Autry has to say, what Mac has to say, what Griff has to say. Because they know how to win. So I'm concerned with Alan Griffin because Boeheim's brought him up in multiple press conferences this year. He's brought him up in multiple press conferences that he's not doing what he needs to do. That he's another guy that transferred into Syracuse that didn't have to play defense. All he had to do was shoot where he was. And Alan Griffin's going to have to do more. He has to do more. He has no choice but to do more. You played in 15 of the 40 minutes and you're a starter. So by minutes, you're not the starter. By minutes, you didn't even play half the game. And I think he needs to learn. Maybe he has to have the game taken away from him. Maybe Boeheim has to sit and play him 10 minutes. Because his reaction is not something of an adult that I'm seeing right now. And this isn't a witch hunt, and I'm not trying to attack. I'm just trying to state a case that, Alan, this is how many people get to play D1 men's or women's basketball. Okay, or I'm sorry, this is how many people get to play college basketball. This is how many people get to play D1 men's or women's college basketball. Okay, I would have loved to. Growing up in this city, I would have loved to be in the dome, put orange and blue on, and go out there and play on that court. I would have loved to. So, all I'm asking Alan is, obviously he has a shot. Obviously he has talent. Obviously he's got ups. Obviously he can block. But I want to see Alan Griffin do more. I want to see Alan Griffin evolve. I want to see him take coaching. You know, we talk about players all the time that are good, right? But are they coachable? There's talent all over the world. But what does a coach want? They want a player who's coachable, a player who can take direction, a player who's good but can get better, a player who can understand that they might know about the game. He or she may not know everything about the game. So I like that. And I don't know if Alan Griffin right now, in this moment, is as coachable as he needs to be. So I would love to see that change. I would love to see that evolve. If I want to see something on this team, I want to see Alan Griffin evolve. Quincy Guerrier, we know that he's a double-double guy. We know he can do it. He scored 3 points in this game. Again, we have not seen Syracuse at their best all season long. There's still something left in the tank. There's a lot left. If there's a game where Marek, Quincy, Buddy, Joe, Allen, Kadari, Braswell, they're scoring, this team's scoring 100 points. So it should won by 16 with no steals. No steals. Won by 16 with no steals. And Quincy Guerrier, 3 points. Alan Griffin, 0 points. Marek Dolezaj, 11. Okay? 14 points amongst the three of those guys. That should say something to you right there. Syracuse does not need Joe to be on every night. They don't. Buddy's kind of a different story. He is kind of the fire starter, so maybe they do need him. But it's like, because he's the leader. And Marek is too. So, but everybody can have an off. Different guys that can do it. These 2 guys are off. These 3 guys are on. These 2 guys are on. These 3 guys are off. Syracuse can still win. So what I'm telling you is there's a lot. I haven't seen it all shooting at the same target at the same time. And that is something for Syracuse fans to look forward to and get excited about what this team can be. And up against San Diego State, they did what they needed. They had the lead. Or pardon me, they were down 2-0. And then they were able to grab the lead off a Buddy Boeheim jumper. And after they get that lead off, they made it 9-8. Or pardon me, 8-6 with 13. Syracuse went down again. And how did they go up? By a Buddy Boeheim jumper that came at 8:49 left in the first half. So a little over 4 minutes later, Buddy does it again. And then the team doesn't look back from there. They get up by 10. They get up by 11 at one point. So they get that's when Joe Girard, he hit the 3 and got fouled, falls down on his butt, gets up, makes it 4-point play, puts him up by 11 with 2:55 left in the first half, and then Joe Girard made another 3. So even though Joe's points weren't crazy, I said his stat line was great. 7 assists, 6 rebounds, all defensive, 12 points in the game. He made the teams, he made those 2 threes and that 4-point play at the end, which is great. Mind you, Joe Girard scored the last 3 field goals of the first half for Syracuse with 4 minutes and 16 seconds to go. He hit a 3 that made it 25-18. He had the 4-point play that made it 29-18, and he had a 3 that made it 32-18. So Joe Girard had 12 points in the game, and 11 of those 12 points came as the only points scored by Syracuse in the last 4:16. They go up 32-18 at halftime. They never look back in the second half. Outside of a few minutes in the first half, 4 minutes or whatever it may be, within that time, between the Buddy jumpers, then, besides that, Syracuse in the second half held on to it, had no issue with the lead. And at one point, we're up by almost 30 points in the game en route to a victory. Robert Braswell continues to impress off the bench. I love the fact that his shot has gotten so much better from last year to this year that you can tell that he's worked on his shot because he's not only hitting shots, hitting jumpers, he's hitting threes. And Robert Braswell has done that consistently. Did it against NC State, did it against Virginia, did it in this game, has done it, during his time. And I love seeing it. 2 of 4. He made 3 shots of his 5 attempts in the game off the bench. He had 9 points in 25 minutes. He had 2 rebounds to go with it, 2 block shots as well, and no turnovers. Braz doing his thing. 2 blocks, 9 points, 2 defensive rebounds, and 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from three-point range. Played 25 minutes, so he had starter minutes in there. Love seeing Robert Braswell excel and evolve out of Jacksonville and a fellow Jaguar. What's up, sir? Appreciate you. So, with that, there's a lot to be said about what he's doing and how he's doing it, and I really do have a lot of respect for Braz off the bench. And not just Braz off the bench, but I want to give a shout out to Kadari Richmond as well. I've spoken his praises this year. He had 8 points in 16 minutes off the bench, 3 of 5 from the field, made both of his free throws, had 2 rebounds, had an assist, had 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, not too bad. Syracuse in the game had 12 turnovers, usually around 10. They can live in that world and win games. And San Diego State only had 5 turnovers in the game. Like I said, Syracuse didn't steal the ball away from them once. Syracuse had the ball stolen from them 6 times in the game. So, got to minimize that. But Syracuse did what they needed to do, and they were able to get it done. Buddy Boeheim, he's played insane. He is the fire starter. He's the guy that will take you to the basket. He's the guy that will muscle in a move. He's the guy that will go into you and then back up and do it. He'll shoot over you. He'll do one-handed shots. He'll do two-handed. He'll do the three-pointer. Heck, he did that spin around, 1 second left on the clock, just heave it up. Everything was falling in for Buddy. The man who's hot is only getting hotter. The NBA Jam is continuing with him, and he's showing that this is a lifestyle potentially for him. This man sticks around 2 years after this. We're looking at the fact that he could get to 2,000 career points. He's already over 1,000. And the fact that, Jerry McNamara's got 400, made threes and whatnot. But he could make it interesting. So, again, this team wins by 16 with no steals. They win by 16 with no points from Griffin, 3 points from Quincy Guerrier, who had 4 rebounds in the game, all defensive. And Marek, relatively quiet too. He had, Marek's stat line is good, but offensively quiet. 11 points, but he had 5 assists. He had 4 rebounds in the game. 2 on offense, 2 on defense, split them both, and he had 2 blocks in the game. So, phenomenal play by him. Jesse Edwards off the bench, only 2 points, but he had 5 rebounds, split his 2. He had 2 offensive, 3 defensive. He had a block in the game, played 16 minutes. Jesse Edwards and Kadari Richmond, there's something to be said about the minutes that they get and what they do with them. I saw 2 games live where they both came in and they did something for Syracuse that was so special. One game, they came in for about 12, 13 minutes in the game. Around 13 minutes, they were there. And for that 13 minutes, Syracuse they found a way. They kept it going, they surged, and they found a way to get it done. So the Jesse Edwards, Kadari Richmond combination coming off the bench has proven more than once this season that Syracuse can surge from being down. They can get it back. They can get out of close games and get the victory. When they're together and they're playing well together, this team gets a lot off the bench, and they usually get to to me, they get to victory in those games where that's happened like that. John Boljack got in. Woody Newton attempted 1 shot. It was a 3. He cashed in on it and rolled in toward the end of the game. And we got to see Billy Owen's son Chaz play. So that was pretty cool as well. So shout out to all of that as Syracuse moves past San Diego State. They will see the likes of former Big East rival West Virginia. And Syracuse against West Virginia, I'll tell you historically, Syracuse is 32-16 all-time in basketball against West Virginia. 32-16, which means they will be playing their 49th game against each other in the NCAA tournament. 32-16 Syracuse all-time versus West Virginia. Syracuse is 21-3 in the Dome. And, 21-3 at home, I should say, overall. So they're 21-3 against West Virginia at home. 10-12 on the road against West Virginia. Something to be said here. So, and then there's neutral. So 21-3 and 10-12 away. Boeheim is 20-7 all-time against West Virginia, and he's 5-1 against Bob Huggins, with Bob Huggins being the head coach of West Virginia. So something to note there for you. Jim Boeheim 5-1 in his last 6 games against Bob Huggins, West Virginia, and he's 20-7 against West Virginia overall. If we look back historically, Jim Boeheim here taking a look at everything. The last 10 matchups, Syracuse is 9-1, and in their first time they ever went up against each other, Syracuse won 32-21. That was in 1917, and contrary to some people's belief, Boeheim was not the coach then. The largest margin of victory by Syracuse against West Virginia was back on February 26, 2003, where Syracuse won 89-51. They won that game by 38 points, 89-51, 38 points in that game. Smallest margin of victory for Syracuse was 72-71 back on January 16th of 2010. Syracuse averages about 74 points a game against West Virginia. So Syracuse, in these last few games, Syracuse was on a 6-game winning streak against West Virginia. In 2012, they played twice, and Syracuse won both of those, home and away. And then Syracuse defeated them in 2003 on the road, in 2003 at home. Then they faced them in 2004, defeated them, and in 2005 defeated them as well. They lost by 20, 81-61 at West Virginia in 2007-8 when Bob Huggins took over the program. That's Bob Huggins' only win against Jim Boeheim as the West Virginia head coach. He defeated him back there in the WVU Arena back in January 13th, 2008 in the 2007-8 season. Since then, Boeheim is 5-0 against Bob Huggins, with Bob Huggins being at West Virginia. He defeated him in 2009 twice at the Carrier Dome and at Madison Square Garden, so that's your neutral court game, and defeated him in Morgantown, West Virginia. After that, 72-71, the smallest margin of victory back in 2010. Beat him in 2011 and has not seen him since 2012. So Syracuse and West Virginia have not met on the men's basketball court in 9 years. It's been over 9 years because the last time they met was January 28th, 2012, and the next time they'll meet is March 21st, 2021. So it's been more than 9 years, and the last time Syracuse and West Virginia met, Syracuse won the game 63-61 in Syracuse. So there you go with the records. So that's what it looks like for Syracuse. Boeheim 20-7 against West Virginia. Syracuse 32-16 all-time against West Virginia. And Boeheim 5-1 against Bob Huggins, with Bob Huggins being the head coach of West Virginia. So Boeheim versus Huggins, with Huggins at West Virginia. Boeheim is 5-1 in those games, and Boeheim is 11-1 in the last 12 games played against West Virginia as they get set to face off against each other in this matchup. And very exciting to see this matchup between Syracuse and West Virginia. To field that a lot of us miss so very. It's hard to believe. West Virginia was in the Big East. Rutgers. It was, I know some of them are still there, but it used to be Syracuse, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame, West Virginia, UConn, Villanova, Rutgers. It used to be it was the best conference in the entire nation. The best conference. Best. By far. The old Big East was the best. It was the best. It was like two conferences. It was so big. And, some teams never found their foot. Like DePaul, with Syracuse there, never found their footing. Marquette, it took time. And eventually they started to win with Buzz Williams there. Syracuse had some trouble with them. But Syracuse, West Virginia, huge game coming up. Very excited for it. The players to watch here, you definitely have to keep in touch with this here. I want to give you some notes on who you need to look out for as Syracuse gets ready to face West Virginia. Now, West Virginia comes into this game against Syracuse in the second round of the tournament, the round of 32. West Virginia in this matchup they're the number 3 seed, and we're looking at the fact that Syracuse is an 11 seed, and West Virginia went through the season and played up against Gonzaga, lost to Gonzaga when Gonzaga was ranked 1 in the country, out of conference 87-82. So that's a big game. They hung with them. They defeated Georgetown at Georgetown, 80-71. They lost to Kansas, 79-65, when they were ranked third in the country. Kansas was. They lost to Texas, who was ranked fourth at the time, 72-70. They had a game canceled against Baylor. They beat Texas Tech 88-87 when Texas Tech was ranked in the nation's top 10. They defeated Kansas the second time around when Kansas dropped in the rankings to 23, 91-79. They defeated Texas Tech again, 82-71 by 11 on the road. They lost to Oklahoma, ranked 12th in the nation by 1, 91-90. And they defeated Texas at Texas when Texas was ranked 12th in the nation, 84-82. They had another game canceled against Baylor when they finally played Baylor. The games were postponed 3 times. When they finally got to Baylor toward the end of the season, they lost to three ranked Baylor, 94-89. And then they lost to Oklahoma State back-to-back, with Oklahoma State ranked in the top 20, 85-80 and 72-69. So, to say that West Virginia is battle-tested would be an understatement. Playing Gonzaga out of conference, playing Georgetown, who's heating up now, and then playing in conference against Kansas, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor, Oklahoma, all those games. Huge games. Texas, West Virginia has definitely been battle-tested. But Syracuse, on the other end, is playing their best basketball right now. And Quincy Guerrier told me after the loss last second to Virginia in the ACC tournament quarterfinals, he said to me, we are playing our best basketball right now in the last 4 games. And that was win against North Carolina at home, win against Clemson at home, win against NC State for the third time this season, going 3-0 against NC State and beating them huge in the third game, which is unheard of if you beat them at all when you play a team 3 times, and then losing at the last second to Virginia. I would think if I talked to Quincy right now, he would tell me they've played their best basketball in the last 5 games because against San Diego State, Quincy was quiet. Marek did some good things, but didn't have a ton of offense. Joe did a lot of good things too. He didn't go. Alan Griffin was quiet, and still Syracuse does what they do to get the victory that they got. So Syracuse definitely has a lot to be excited about, playing their best basketball at the best time of the season, which is when they're dancing. And nobody has danced more than Boeheim through the decades, setting an NCAA tournament history mark. Going to the tournament in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Boeheim has made it to the NCAA tournament in 6 decades as a head coach. Hats off to him for that. West Virginia, in their game against Morehead State, that was going on when Syracuse was playing as well, started a little bit after. Morehead State gave them hell. Morehead State made it interesting. They made it interesting into the second half. They played to within 1 point. They played to within 1 to 2 possessions multiple times before West Virginia was able to find their separation. And they found their separation by McBride going off. McBride doing a fantastic job. Buddy had 30 points in 34 minutes. McBride of West Virginia in their round of 64 game, he for West Virginia had Miles McBride had 30 points in 36 minutes. So right there close to what Buddy had, 30 points in 36 minutes, and he was 11 of 17 from the field. Buddy was 11 of 15, and he was 3 of 4 from three-point. Buddy was 7 of 10, and his stat line was incredible. McBride had 30 points in 36 minutes, 5 of 6 from the charity stripe, so like almost perfect there, obviously. 3 of 4 from 3, 75%. 11 of 17 from the field. 4 defensive rebounds, 2 offensive rebounds for 6 total. 6 assists, 3 steals, no turnovers. So in 36 out of 40 minutes, Miles McBride played for West Virginia against Morehead State. Granted, it was Morehead State, but 30 points in 36 minutes, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and no turnovers. Definitely got to watch out for him. Also got to watch out for Culver. Culver in the game against Morehead State. Derek Culver, a junior forward on the team, wears number 1. Miles McBride wearing number 4. So look out for those. Culver on the team, 12 points in 24 minutes. He also had 7 rebounds in the game total. Had an assist, had a steal, and a couple turnovers. 3 blocks in the game too. And then we see 4 out of the 5 starters for West Virginia scoring double figures against Morehead State. Bridges had 15 in 30 minutes. Culver, as I said, had 12 and 24. McNeil had 13 points in 32 minutes, and McBride had 30 points in 36 minutes. They got 11 points off their bench, 9 from Sherman and 2 from Thweet and nobody else. And so there's something to be said about West Virginia and what they're able to do, what their starters are able to do. Their starters playing starter minutes. It's 36 minutes from McBride, 32 from McNeil, 32 from Matthews Jr., who was the only one to not score in double figures. He had 3 points, only shot 3 times. And Bridges played 30 minutes in the game. Off the bench, Sherman, who scored 9, played 23 minutes. And the closest to him was 15 minutes from Sabohane. So he got out there and played the game 2 minutes there. No points in 15 minutes for him. Did not attempt a shot, but came out and had a block in the game, had a couple steals, had an assist, and a couple rebounds. So West Virginia, gonna bring it. Culver, McBride, key in on them, number 1, number 4, and on the team, numbers-wise, respectively. So when you're looking out there and you're trying to remember who I said, look out for number 1 and number 4. 4 out of their 5 starters scoring in double figures. This is a game, like I said, we have not seen Syracuse have a game yet where everybody's been on. This might have to be that game. Might have to be one of those games where Syracuse turns it on with Griffin, turns it on with Guerrier, who's a double-double machine at times, turns it on with Joe Girard, turns it on continuously with Buddy, and then Braswell off the bench and Marek and whoever gets to do it. So Syracuse, huge game coming up. Like I said, my bracket in the Midwest that Syracuse and West Virginia are in, that bracket is clean right now. I have Syracuse advancing to play Houston, who I have winning over Rutgers. So don't keep my bracket clean. That's all I ask. So Syracuse, keep it clean, and let's keep it going. Syracuse, my bracket in the Midwest looking great. My bracket in the South, all types of red. Syracuse defeats San Diego State. They move on to West Virginia. Boeheim's record against West Virginia, very good right now. But as Boeheim will tell you in any press conference that I've been in, he doesn't give a dang about the record. All he cares about is the game right in front of him. Buddy Boeheim continues to be a spark and a catalyst. His 3-point, and I love how he smiles, and he just looks like a kid that appreciates the game. That's what I love. So enjoy the game this Sunday, and enjoy everything that's coming up, including on my feed on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. I got to ask Buddy 2 questions, not 1 but 2, after this game where he had 30 and 34 minutes. Do not miss them. You're going to see 2 Buddy pictures. They're different questions, so watch them both. I got to do a Q&A with Buddy after the game. Awesome time with him. Incredible answers that you'll remember forever, including him talking about going through the tournament with his dad, which so few people get to do, is go through a tournament where your parents aren't in the stands. Your dad is actually right next to you, coaching you. So, very exciting. Don't miss my 2 questions to Buddy Boeheim that I'll be putting here on all of my social media. I also have a special with Brandon Trish from Dubai that you do not want to miss. Incredible, and a guy who knows all about the tournament, as he made it all 4 years that he was at Syracuse and made it to the Sweet 16 one year, the Elite 8 one year, and the Final Four his final year, and the second round another year after that. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Brandon Trish and Buddy Boeheim. And as always, from the Cafe Kubal Studios, I want to thank you for paying attention to Wake Up Call as we decided to do a special today and go live on Instagram for the first time ever. So shout out to everybody at WakeUpCall_DT on Instagram. Want to let you all know Monday through Friday is the normal broadcast for Wake Up Call. That's our normal hours inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. And you can search these shows, the audio of them. You can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or search one word, Wake Up Call DT on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, MixLR, YouTube for the videos, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and iHeartRadio to get all of these shows after they go live. And a special thanks to all of our proud partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Avocolis. Use the promo code AVS10 at myavicolis.com and you'll get 10% off. That's AVS10 at myavicollis.com. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Whether you're picking it up at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, or you're ordering it to be shipped to you, go to maandpazpopcorn.com, because in-store pickup and delivery, you get 20% off only if you use my code. You have to use my code. Do it during tourney time. What's better than having some awesome kettle corn to get your popcorn ready for tourney time and for these Syracuse games and so much more? DT20 is my code. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com, and whether it's in-store pickup or delivery to any one of the 50 states, use my code DT for Dan Tortora, DT20, 20% off at maandpazpopcorn.com. With that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me for yet another Wake Up Call added bonus special. Under promise, over deliver. That's what God does in my life, and I try to bring it and pay it forward as best I can in your life and beyond. So have a great day. Be well. Look out for those Buddy Boeheim interviews and a very special exclusive that's coming up to you with Brandon Trish from Dubai. You don't want to miss that either. This weekend is jam-packed. You thought Wake Up Call Monday through Friday took care of business? We just got started. And so did Syracuse. Syracuse women's basketball team, they're in action too. Support the women, support the men. And if I can say anything to the NCAA, you should probably heed that call more than anybody else. Have a fantastic day. Be well. God bless. No stress. Do your best. I'll see you on our social media, and I'll see you again very soon. Be well, everybody, and have a fantastically orange day.